you're stupid. What do you mean you can't? You have done all this stuff. And I was like, no, not working. And then that, I'm like, that's not working. So after so many times that happened, I realized that whatever Danny said, it was not going to make me change my mindset. It was only whatever I said to myself.
That's right.
Was going to get me out of that bathroom. And then I'll go out of the bathroom with all my like freaking red nose and going to talk to the person, shaking. And then I'll talk to the person, and at the end I'll be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then I thought I was fine, and I was like, okay, networking is my thing, it wasn't that hard. And then the next Wednesday came, and then again, all over again. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll cry, and I'll call my sister, and then I'll go to line again and again until now it's kind of easier.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hustle Up podcast, dedicated to all the movers and shakers out there grinding past the traditional 40-hour work week to create a life by design and stop living life on default. My name is Clint.
And I'm Jonathan.
And today we're sitting down with the wonderful Miss Stephanie Carvajalino, who does not eat spicy food. So fun fact, she asked why. Why would I? Makes our nose runny. It stings. Spicy food releases endorphins, kind of like little dopamine hits after you eat.
Yeah, but you have to suffer to get there.
I don't know.
Why would you want to suffer?
It's like going to the gym. Sometimes going to the gym is like
Exactly,
suffering.
I know. Today I was talking about that. I was like, yeah, you release endorphins, but like, really? I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. So Stephanie is a real lady hustler, a real lady boss. She's a real hustler and a real boss. We're not even going to put a gender on it. She's getting after it. And we're just going to dig in. What's your story? How did you get into this with the Biz Nation? And like, what's the background?
Well, so to understand a little bit better about the story, we have to go back 16 years. So when I was 6 years old, I had two sisters. So usually I'm going to be talking like we and plural and stuff like that because I'm so used to it, but it's me or whatever. So my sisters and I am 22, the other one is 24, and the other one is 25. So in August, I turned 23. So we're 23, 24,
August
25.
what?
17.
Oh, nice. I'm August 12th.
On August 5th.
Leo's.
Yes, that's a good month. So we started our first company when we were 6, 7, and 8 years old, right? We started selling chocolates, just like kind of the Girl Scouts here. We did like our Girl Scout version in Colombia because we don't really have that. And then my mom was an educator. She's an educator. And then my dad is like a full-time crazy entrepreneur. So we were born in this like environment where we grew up seeing these two worlds. And we were looking like ways on how to connect both to make a difference. So one day, my friend was making chocolates to go out because she needed extra money. And we were like, yeah, we're going to help you. And then she will let us eat whatever was left in the pot. And that was like the payment. So we were like, great. We have something to do. We get paid by eating chocolates. And, you know, we're playing.
Is this in the States?
No, this is in Colombia, back home. And then, so that was during vacations. And then my dad, when school started, he was like, I cannot take you there every day. Why don't you start doing it here? And then we started doing chocolates. And we started selling chocolates door to door in my building. And then we started learning all the vocab about businesses. So that was like the difference. My dad will always be like, you know, it's not going to buy ingredients. We're going to buy raw materials. It's not Karen, Daniel, and Stephanie. It's the general manager, the sales executive, the commercial manager.
Yeah.
It's not going to sell just because. It's, you know, hitting your quota, your sales quota, and stuff like that. So we started learning about chocolates. And then after doing this for a year in my building, we started selling in my school. But not like in the back of the room like everyone did. But like we went to the cafeteria of the school because we were a business, right? So we should like act like a business. So we went to the cafeteria and we were like, hey, we want to be suppliers. We want to bring chocolates and sell it. And they were like, okay, fine. So
and you're 8 years old right here?
Yeah, so I was 7. And then my dad signed our first contract because it is illegal to sign a contract when you're 7. Right? Especially with school and food related and all that. So he was responsible of everything, and we did the chocolates and we took them every 2 weeks, and then we went and we looked for the payment and like that, right?
So where did the chocolates come from?
So we did it.
You made them in your kitchen?
Yes, we made them in our kitchen, sweating like
Is
we
that
were
FDA
eating
approved?
spicy.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do you package it like credible enough for a school to be interested in buying it?
yeah, so it didn't have to be very. It was very very basic actually. It was just like a transparent little bag and then like a little thingy. Like it was not credible at all. So they would just have it. Yeah, it was not like it didn't even have a logo or anything. It was just like a transparent bag and that was it. And then they will have like a little stick and then they will put like all the chocolates like one in the other and stuff like that. And then people will buy it. And then they believed in that and then they became suppliers and then we started selling in my friend's cafeteria, in my friend's school's cafeteria, and then in my other friend's school's cafeteria, and then in the places where my parents' friends worked cafeteria, we used to sell it there. And then we started selling it in different cities. So that's how we grew our chocolate business.
Oh my god.
All right. Before we dive in, I'm gonna bring up the idea of. I know you said you didn't do it, but packaging. Packaging being one of the first ideas of marketing. If you've never had real exposure to a product before, in a lot of cases, it could be the same product. It could actually be an inferior product, but an inferior product with superior packaging is going to win off the shelf. Now, it might not win long term, but it's a great way to get people in the door, right? I'm thinking, for example, even like a gas station. I would rather go to Racetrack, even if it's more expensive than stop in at an Exxon or a Techron or anything else, right? It's the package.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, that was at the beginning. But then as we started like growing and stuff like that, my dad always said that like it's not about the chocolate. Like you're not buying a chocolate, you're buying actually the packaging. So then of course we started working on the packaging and we became more legit and
so
we
you
had
did
a logo.
Develop it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, but this was at the beginning. It was
Yeah.
like a year when we started. And we used to sell it in
You mean when you were 8 years old?
Yeah, when I was exactly. When I was 8 years old. And then at the beginning, we used to sell it in my building. So basically the packaging, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it. Basically the packaging, it was us. Like I would go knocking door to door and saying like, hey, I'm selling my chocolates. My neighbors really didn't care about the packaging. They care about me going there and selling it.
It's never about the chocolate.
It's about It's about the chocolate. It's about the whole experience.
Yes.
It's about your sales. It's about the packaging. It's about the product. Like we can't get it twisted. It definitely is about the product, but it's about the whole experience.
It's a commoditized product, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that this wasn't Swiss chocolate. This wasn't Delicatessen milk chocolate. But you're getting them in the door.
It was artisan chocolate.
It was. You're getting them in the door.
We even started doing like colors and faces and stuff. Yeah, we developed, of course.
You get them in the door with your energy. You're selling yourself. You're selling your brand. And then if the chocolate's good, they buy more, right?
Yeah.
Then you're selling them again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what'd you do? So you got, what was the next big step from selling in the cafeterias till whatever you consider point B?
Mixing education with crazy entrepreneurship.
Okay, so everything started when after a year of selling chocolates, one of our neighbors, he was like, oh yeah, so I'm not buying chocolates today. And I was like, no way. He got tired. We are done. We're over. There's nothing else we can do. I was like, no, how? And then he was like, I'm not gonna buy chocolates, but I want to invite you to my MBA class. So you talk about your family business, because I've been seeing you here for a year. So that means that you're kind of serious. It was not just like a summer thing, right? So we were like, okay, yeah, we'll go, fine. Because like I said before, we used to play to be entrepreneurs. So we didn't need to learn what we were going to say. It's if you bring someone here, like a little kid, and ask him, okay, explain me how this game works, and he will explain it. It was the same thing. We would just explain how we work, like our game, right? So we were like, yeah, sure. So we went to this MBA class. And then as you can imagine, when you're in an MBA class, everyone is like 25 and up and stuff like that, and they're talking about family business, and then the professor is like, okay, so here come the guest speakers of today, and then it was like Karen, Daniel, and Stephanie, 7, 8, and 9 years old, talking about their family business, and then half of the room was like, oh my god, I should have not come today. Like, those faces that they were like, why did I wake up early to this? Like, what are they gonna teach me about businesses? Yeah, it's cute, but what are they gonna teach me? I have stuff to do, right? And then the other half were like, oh my gosh, so cute, blah blah blah. But they didn't really thought that we were gonna add anything. Yeah, exactly. So I feel that the aha moment that changed everything was after that first talk, that everyone's perspective changed. Like, all these faces were, after we finished, they were encouraged and motivated to start something. Not only like a business, but like they're MBA students, so they were thinking about creating associations and creating research and doing like different programs and stuff like that. Others were like encouraged. They were like, if you guys can do it, I can start my business as well, as like I can also start my business. So I feel that that was the aha moment, that we were like, oh my god, if we can change someone's perspectives of life, then we can actually change the world. And we were like, we have to go everywhere. And then we started going everywhere in Colombia, like to schools, public, private companies.
As speakers?
As speakers, yeah. So we started with the family business. That was the name of the talk. It was like the family business, and we would talk about the business and our responsibilities and how the game was, but like we wouldn't call it the game. We would call it like the business, how it worked and all that. And then of course, as time like started passing, we started learning more about business. We started learning more about like how to grow our business to be able to teach it to other people. But in that journey, remember that I said that my mom is an educator. So we also started learning about human behavior. We started learning about why people acted the way they acted and how we could complement that with business to help other people do what we were doing. And then since then, we haven't stopped. We have been in 20 countries doing this. We have spoken to more than 500,000 people about, first it was the family business, but then we started talking about other topics, about innovation, about leadership, about neurolinguistic programming, and that has taken us to the Biz Nation. That is what we do today. So that was like the transition from chocolate to education, basically.
And real quick, just to finish that story up, and then we'll cut into parts of that. But is the Biz Nation your brand that you travel under? Is it a software platform? What is the Biz Nation?
So it is both. So basically, the reason why the Biz Nation started, it was because after all these speaking engagements, we realized that people were like, yes, I want to become an entrepreneur. Yes, I want to be happy. Yes, we're gonna be successful. But then after 3 days, everyone will go back to normal.
Yes.
And we were like, you know what, this doesn't make sense. Like, we're not making an impact. If we really want to make an impact, this doesn't make sense. So then that's when we decided to create the Biz Nation, that it's an online learning platform. So we were like, okay, you want to start a business, you want to be successful, woohoo, you're motivated, then let's use that motivation and let's funnel it through this course that it's like step by step, take action on that motivation, right? Mm-hmm. And then we started with entrepreneurship, how to create your first business, but then we have always been very involved in education and how it is changing, and we realized that people are not being prepared for the jobs of today, not for creating those jobs or getting those available positions. So that's when we decided to involve technological skills and financial education. And then the traveling, we couldn't, like at the beginning we used to have like another company that was called like Quality Line Training, but then we were like, it doesn't make sense, let's just do the Biz Nation, like the brand for everything, for online and offline, because at the end of the day we're training, right? Yeah. So now everything is under the Biz Nation.
Wow, okay, that's awesome. For one, anytime you bring technology into it, your expansion, like who you can touch and the amount of influences,
it's 100% more scalable.
Yeah, exactly. So what was your biggest challenge? So you live in Atlanta now, or you live on north of Atlanta just a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. What was your biggest challenge when did you move to America?
5 years ago.
Why did you move to America?
I came to school, to KSU. I came to study.
Really? At KSU?
Mm-hmm.
Why KSU?
Everyone always asks that, like, how do you even find KSU? So my sister she started an English program at Georgia Tech. And while she was there, she met the guy of global admissions for KSU. And then she told her all the story, everything that we did, and then he offered her a scholarship. So then she ended up going to KSU. And then my other sister got the same scholarship, and she ended up going to KSU.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I got the same scholarship and I ended up going to KC.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So that's how we ended up there.
What'd you graduate with?
Professional sales.
Nice. What did you learn in professional sales that you didn't learn through experience?
Everything.
Really?
No, just kidding. But I really liked it. I feel that. So when I started, I didn't start in professional sales. I started in marketing.
Yeah.
And then the reason why I started in marketing, even though I knew about the professional sales program, was because, I was like, sales, I'm not going to do that. And then I knew that they had to do so they do like this competition where you have to sell your product and they will record you and then everyone else will look at you and like grade you and stuff like that. And then it was like me selling in front of all these people in English is not going to happen and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm not studying sales. So I was like, no. And then when I was in a class, one of my professors was like, oh, you haven't taken this class, so you're not going to be able to graduate on time. And I was like, wait, what? I need to graduate by next May. So what? So then I went to my advisors and I was like, if I change to sales, can I graduate next May? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll just change to sales. So now I'm sales. And then thanks to God and that professor that said that, I was able to change to sales and I was able to learn like the whole process behind a sale. So it's not like I feel that I was very, I was not born, but I have been practicing sales forever since I was 6, right? So
Just
it was
being
very natural, right?
and
Exactly.
empathetic, being able to connect.
Exactly. And then with this program, I learned like all the process, like the actual questions that you have to make, why those questions are gonna lead you to something else and stuff like that. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I went through the same program, and the most, two. You knew Chris Hanks as well.
Yeah.
But the most influential professors I had were the director of that program,
Oh yeah.
Terry Lowe, and Chris Hanks.
Mm.
Best professors in college.
Yeah.
I love Terry Lowe, even though I got an 89.7 in his class and I asked him to round it up and he was like, no. And I was like, okay.
We'll talk more about what Terry Lowe gave me later. He and I have a bone to pick. But you're watching this. Tell him I said hey. You mentioned over and over again that you were looking at business as the game. And it keeps bringing me back up to like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rich dad's teaching the son, or not the son, but son's friend, as a game. This is all a big game. Your dad did something similar with you?
100%. The first book that I read in my life was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like 10 times, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the one for youth, and then all the other ones that he wrote, right? And my dad definitely, I feel that without my parents' help, we would have never been able to do anything that we have been able to do today. It's 1 in a million or in 2 billion people that it's like that smart kid that it's just successful, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, dude, I'm not extraordinary. I'm like very, very ordinary. I just do stuff with the consistency. Yeah, I'm like very persistent and constant in the stuff that we have been doing, and then that's why we are where we are. But not because I'm incredibly smart or any of that. My sisters, they're very smart. They graduated both summa cum laude. Me, I graduated. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna graduate from college and now I'll be fine, right? So my parents definitely, we wrote a book that it's called Parents and Coaches at the same time. And everyone asked us, they're like, why you didn't write about how to become a leader, how to become a, young entrepreneur? And I was like, because without my parents' help, we would have never been able to do anything that we have done. So that's why we decided to create that book.
That's fascinating. What is like a overview, like a brief overview of some of the things that one would learn from reading that book?
So there's 2 versions. The first version, we wrote it when I was 14. So that was more about our experience and how our parents did it with us. And then the second version that we launched in 2016, it's after we all graduated from school, from college, and we actually learned why our parents were doing what we were doing. So basically this book, it's gonna give parents a child perspective, because I'm not a mom and that's way too hard, but a child's perspective on how to ignite that entrepreneurial mindset in their kids and how to support them. You know, because parents could be the main supporters or the main roadblock in the success of a kid. And then we have had so many parents that are like, but I'm not an entrepreneur, I don't know anything about entrepreneurship, so that's why I cannot raise an entrepreneur. And I'm like, I have so many friends that they play tennis and their parents have never played tennis in their life. So it's exactly the same thing. You can raise an entrepreneur without being an entrepreneur. And also I feel that in English, entrepreneur is more like building a business, but in Spanish, the word entrepreneur, like emprendedor, it's like to start something. So we talk more about that entrepreneurial mindset instead of just like, oh, I created a business, I'm an entrepreneur, right?
What do you think is the entrepreneurial mindset?
So definitely I feel that entrepreneurial mindset, it's that person that it's innovative, it's looking for solutions, it's creating ideas, it's bringing solutions to problems. Whether it's with a business or with a product, with a service, with something. Because you can have an entrepreneurial mind in a company. Like as an employee, you can have an entrepreneurial mind.
You be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly. So then we can like dig into all that. But at the end of the day, I like to call all that like an entrepreneurial mindset.
I like that. I think and to me, it's that element of wanting to be a creator, but also there's that fundamental like mindset piece, which is abundance over scarcity, or faith over fear, and like things like that. Like there's like certain states of your mind that you have to be into to also have that entrepreneurial mindset, because it takes a lot of creation, but it also takes a lot of resilience and fortitude and durability. So,
and I feel that everything is a mindset. Like,
yes,
you need to think about it. You need to make a decision, like a conscious decision that you want to get something. If not, it's not going to happen. Not just because you woke up, stuff are going to happen. Like, you need to decide if you want them to happen or not.
Do you feel like your perception creates your reality?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yes, 100%. And I feel that everyone have a different perception of what is called their reality. Your reality is not my same reality, and your reality is not my same reality. Like,
there's an interesting word we've talked about before. It's called sonder. I didn't know this word until recently. The word sonder is.
No, I don't feel bad.
It describes the realization that comes over you as you realize that other people, or as you begin to understand that other people's lives are as complicated and intricate and unique as your own. And so just as you're saying this, I'm thinking sonder, my reality is different than your reality, different than his reality. Sonder is the word.
And you know what? So we have been studying NLP, that it's neuro-linguistic programming, right? And then there it talks about how you program yourself, how you program your brain through your linguistics, right? And they said that we have an unconscious mind that needs to make a hologram, like needs to make a picture of everything to be able to store it in your mind, right? So a hologram is the reflection of something. So the same thing happens with our brain. A hologram is the reflection of our reality. So for example, this morning I was giving a talk, and I told people, I was like, imagine that I have an apple in my hand. And then I asked how many people thought that apple was red. And then some of them raised their hand. And then I was like, how many people thought that apple, or imagined that apple green? And then other people raised their hand. And then how many people imagined that apple big? And then others raised their hand, and others small, and stuff like that. And then that's just like small example to show how your reality reflected on a green apple, and then someone else's reality will reflect it on a red apple. And that's just an example. But with that, everything in life, before you save anything on your mind, you need to create a picture of that. And you're only going to create that picture based on your reality. And that's why sometimes you tell someone something like, hey, go do this, and then they don't do it. You're like, how is that even possible? It was so easy. Like, I explained it, everything, like step by step. Like, you don't understand why the other person was not able to do it. Easy. Because their reality is different. And that's why communication is so important to increase productivity in a company.
Fucking fascinating.
It's good for management when you get mad at someone. I don't understand how you could think of it this way. That's one of the most useless things that you can say as a leader. It's not your job to understand how they could think about it, how they thought about it. The fact is they did think about it that way. Now let's figure out how to address it or correct it or move on. Do you manage teams? Is it okay? You do
Yeah.
have employees?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, the entrepreneurial mindset brings solutions to problems, and there's very little more frustrating to me. There's a balance because I don't want my guys to ever bring me problems that they don't have solutions for at the same time. Now, if you can't think of one, if you can't come up with one, if you need help brainstorming, then by all means, that's what upper management is there for, or that's why you go to somebody else. At the same time, the catch is that have I put somebody in place that can't solve problems? Do you? What's your management life been like? How do you hire? Who are the people on your team?
Yes, so we also have studied something that it's called the triune brain. So basically, have you heard about the left brain and the right brain?
Yeah.
So left brain is logic, right brain is emotions. But nobody, or not a lot of people, talk about the central brain, that it's actually the first part of the brain that was developed, that it's where the...
Is that the neocortex? Or
Yeah.
the amygdala?
No, the reptilian.
Reptilian,
Yeah,
the
reptilian. Yeah, so where the... How do you say supervivencia? The... Supervivencia.
Supervivencia.
Yeah. So...
We got the internet here.
Yeah, so supervivencia, it's like, when someone... Survival. Yeah, survival.
Yeah, fight
so,
or flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
that's in that part of the brain. But not a
Right.
lot of people talk about that. And that was actually the first part of the brain that was
Right.
developed. And then
It's the most animalistic.
Yes, exactly. That it's like just trying to survive, finding ways to survive, where the action is, where the risk is, where entrepreneurship is, and all that. So we talk about this theory, and then, for example, when we are going to hire someone, we have a test that they do, so we can see, this person is. So we have the three brains because we only have one brain, but it's divided in three parts: left, right, and central. And then you have a dominant brain, then a second brain, and a third brain.
Right.
That only means that whenever you have to take action or make a decision, your dominant brain is going to be the dominant. So either your emotions, your logic, or your action base, right? And these all learn in different ways: auditive, kinesthetic, and visual. So we do them a test so we understand who are we working with. So for example, if I have a person that is very emotional, I know that for that person, it is important to say good stuff. It is important to cheer them up. It is important to say that they're doing great things and that a small solution of something that they did is amazing. We have an employee that every single week, he's like, okay, bye, I'm gone. Like, I just quit. He quits every week. Just because, I don't know, we say like, dude, this was wrong. You didn't do the right thing. But he's super emotional.
He can't take criticism.
No, he can't take anything. So
Yeah.
he just quits. But he's so freaking good that we have to work with him.
Yeah.
So we're like, we love you, Jesus, but you cannot keep doing this. Like, you also need to learn that in a professional life, you cannot be like, I'm emotional, so you take it or leave it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we have been working with him also on how to manage that, but he's so talented that we cannot just be like yesterday that you guys were talking about the ego in the panel, we cannot just be like, oh yeah, because our ego is higher, we're just gonna let you go because you were very rude, right?
Like the hand motion.
Yeah, like you get by. So we do that. We try to understand who are we working with, so then we can talk to them in that same channel.
Yeah.
So is it logic? Is it visual? Is it auditory? Is it emotions? Or is it kinesthetic? And it's like someone that is like, okay, I don't need to talk like my sister, for example. If I talk a lot to my sister, she'll be like, dude, I need to go. Like what do you need? So we try to use that in our, or for example with Danny.
Yeah.
If I say, sometimes I come to Danny. Well, not anymore, but I used to come to Danny and I'll be like, Danny, I have this super good idea. You're gonna love it. We're gonna do all these, blah, 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 blah. And then she'll be like, dude, send that to me in an email. And I'll be like, what? Like, excuse me? And then you mentioned that, like, family business. And then the difference between a normal company and a family business is that in a normal company, you still have this thing called respect. But in a family business, even if you try, there's some gonna be times that you're gonna be like, dude, you're freaking retarded, you know? So now that I learned that Danny is a visual learner, before coming to tell her anything, I'll send her an email.
Yeah.
And then she'll reply in freaking capital letters like, "Oh my God, you're the best! I love it!" Exclamation point, exclamation point. And then I'll be like, okay, she understands now.
So it sounds similar to a disc profile.
Yes.
Is it?
Disc profile, similar to the color ones. Like there's so many theories.
Did you do Myers-Briggs?
Yes.
Yeah.
So all these different theories. We have just decided to use this one because it's the one that we have learned.
What's it called?
It's called the triune brain. Triune or triadic brain.
What's your Myers-Briggs, do you know?
I don't know, but I remember I did that in school. We had to. We were always talking about that, but I don't remember.
It's interesting. You noticed it first that like a lot of your friends are within a similar pattern.
People that I get along with are usually E-ins, for starters. And then
Do you know what that means?
No, which one's
It's like Ian, I don't know, he knows it better.
it's extroverted and intuitive.
I'm introverted.
No, I don't believe this.
I
There's no way.
promise. I swear to God. People never believe me, but I promise.
What makes you say
Extroverted,
that?
introvert?
Because I get exhausted. Like literally, people say like, "Oh, if you're introverted, then that means that you're actually socially awkward or whatever," and it's not. Like this means where do you get your energy from? And there's sometimes, most of the times, that when I'm like too long with people, I'm like, dude, I need to go to my house, just take a rest, not talk to anybody, just be by myself, me with me and me.
I
Nobody
believe
knows.
she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, but I feel like there's like levels to this, right? Like you may not be like you're definitely extroverted because of your energy up front. Like you can't like fake give that off. But even though you get tired,
But,
like in comparison to an introvert, maybe they only go out for an hour a week and that tires them, not many hours a day.
I had a professor. He was a manager, Paul Riemann, at at KSU.
I love Corey.
And he was another one of those great
Yeah,
professors. And he said, he was very outspoken. He was very energetic. He was very engaging with you. He's like, look, I'm an introvert, but I've learned extroverted skills, and I've grown proficient in extroverted skills. And I always thought that was a great way of placing it. He knows what he is, but he's also developed.
Like you have to do it. Like for example, for me, I hate networking events.
Yeah.
So listen this.
Yeah.
Remember, so in Kennesaw, they do
It's
something that is
fascinating.
called Access,
Yeah.
the ones that they do on Wednesdays, right? So I used to force myself to go to that. But also, when you do something so many times, you start getting used to that and you start doing it automatically, right? But that doesn't mean that it's easy. So I used to go to these events, right? And then at the end of the event, everyone will go to talk to, I don't know, the CEO that they brought, and they'll give them their business card and be like, hey, what do you look for in an employee, in an intern? And then there I was sitting down and I was like, this person is already with the mindset that he's going to talk to someone that is going to ask for a job. And I don't want a job.
Yeah.
So it's already hard to break that barrier of you're coming to a school to look for interns and employees, and I'm going to be like, hey, I don't want a job. I just want to have a coffee with you, or I just want to meet you or whatever, right?
It just makes this.
I will go to the freaking bathroom and I'll call my sister crying. I'll be like, I can't do this. I swear to God, I can't do this. And I'll be crying while the line, because the line at the end is super long. Like everyone wants to talk to them. So I was like, okay, I have time. And then I'll be like crying. I'll be like, I can't, blah, blah, blah. And then Dani she'll try everything. She'll try like psychology, inverse psychology, like, you blah blah blah, you can't do it. And then I was like, no, it's not working. She'll be like, you're stupid. What do you mean you can't? You have done all this stuff. And I was like, no, not working. And then I'm like, that's not working. So after so many times that happened, I realized that whatever Dani said, it was not going to make me change my mindset. It was only whatever I said to myself.
That's right.
Was going to get me out of that bathroom. And then I'll go out of the bathroom with all my like freaking red nose and going to talk to the person, shaking. And then I'll talk to the person, and at the end I'll be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then I thought I was fine. And I was like, okay, networking is my thing. It wasn't that hard. And then the next Wednesday came. And then again, all over again. I'll go to the bathroom and I'll cry. And I'll call my sister. And then I'll go to the line. And again until now it's kind of easier. But it's never like super, oh yeah, I love networking events and I'm going to talk to people. Yesterday at the networking event, I told Martin. I was all the time with Martin. I was like, I don't understand how people can just go and meet random people that they have never seen in their life. It's so weird. Like you go and hello, my name is Stephanie. He's like, no, I'm never.
I think about it. So from my perspective, when I'm going to meet people, I'm not even going to tell them what I do. In fact, if I can get away with just having them talk the entire time, I will come across as more interesting to them. They will have formed a connection and spoken, right? So when I'm using that as a tactic, I just want to talk, introduce them to somebody. Especially like, who else do I know here that would be good for this person to meet? And then it takes some of that burden off. One of the differences, I also remember going to networking events, 18, 19, and being horrified of walking into a room of 300, 400, 500 people I'd never met. But what the difference is, at the end, if I could force myself to go, every single time I felt like a G. I like the most energy I've ever had. It was like
you
a
feel
high.
I'm the best, and then everyone is so nice. Like everyone is so nice, and they talk to you, and then you feel like, yes, I'm the best, until the next event comes.
Yeah.
But like
but
I said,
love
now
hearing
it's a
your
little
dialogue.
yeah.
You say, all right, networking's my thing now.
Yeah.
I got it. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, this is my thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, I used to force myself also to go, like, to these events by myself.
Yeah.
Because I realized that if I go with someone, then I'll do what I did yesterday. I'll just stay with that person. Yeah. So, I used to force myself to go by myself. And the same thing will happen. I'll go to a bathroom and I'll start crying, and then I'll call my sister, and then I'll be like, I'm going to look like a total loser. So, then I discovered the trick. I'm just going to come in the middle of the event, listen whatever the people that are talking are saying, and then wait until the end to have a conversation topic. Oh, what do you think about whatever?
But I feel like
what do you think about the speaker?
But then you're taking out part of the challenge, which is how could you cold approach someone with no common context?
Oh, I can't.
You need a wingman.
I bet you could.
You need a wingman. You need a wingwoman.
Yeah,
Somebody that will help you work the room.
Like when I'm talking to people that I don't know, people think that I'm engaged. I look like I'm engaging, but in my mind, the only thing is like, what do I say now? But what do I say now? What question do I make now?
Why aren't you listening?
Yeah, of course I'm listening.
listening.
I feel that both things are happening at the same time. Like I'm listening, and based on what they're saying, it's like, okay, he said that. What I'm gonna say now? What I'm like, I just
you got
feel
the
like
left,
it
right,
happens
and
so
middle
fast.
brain all talking
yeah,
at
I'm
once.
like, all happening. It's like, honestly, I don't know how this happens, but I feel that all those things happen at the same time. Like, I'm listening and I'm thinking what I'm gonna say, and then I'm like, dude, I'm hungry. I think that I just need to go, and I just start thinking like so many things.
Do you meditate?
I try. I've tried so many times.
Meditation would help with that.
It is so hard.
I know, but it's just like going to the gym. It's anytime you can meditate, it's like your mind is doing bicep curls.
Yeah, I've tried it so many times.
Look,
like,
I'm
honestly,
telling you, for
I feel it's one of the
situations-
hardest things to do. Honestly, I feel it's one of the hardest things to do.
Hey.
Like real meditation, not like
Yeah.
oh I'm sitting and I'm no. It's like real meditation, like really focusing
on
like,
not thinking anything.
It's impossible. Like when I'm meditating, this is me meditating. So I'm like, okay, inhale. Oh, I need to send this email. I need to talk to this person. Oh, I have a great idea. We can do a business now. Blah blah blah. It's so hard.
But it's so worth it.
Yeah.
I encourage you to try, and then try.
I even have an app. The mind space, something.
Oh yeah, Mindspace.
Yeah.
Do that, and then try going to networking events.
Mindspace or Headspace?
Headspace.
Headspace, yeah. So let me ask you something about your sisters. So, other than motivating each other, whether it be talking you out of some internal dialogue that has fear, or whether it be just pushing you, whatever the motivation is, what's y'all's complementary skill sets?
Oh, everything. Like we're so different. Like we look alike, but we're so different.
Tell me who does what.
Okay. So I'm gonna start from what we study in school and then what we do in the company, right? So Karen, she studied. She did psychology and statistics.
Fire.
Danny did finance and management, and I did professional sales and marketing.
That's the perfect recipe.
So that was from a college perspective, and that's how we apply it in the business. So I feel that it's very important to know your skills and your strength, and that will give you a better perspective on a company, because of course at the beginning when we were younger, Karen was the CEO. Why? Because she was the older one, the oldest, blah blah blah. But now that we grew up and we know like strengths and stuff like that, we're able to keep like our feelings and family stuff out and be like, okay, what makes more sense? So now Danny is the CEO.
Mhm.
She's the CEO because she's super good with general stuff, with planning, with like taking care of everything, right?
Operations
in general.
and strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Karen is the COO because she's all about operations, like about making stuff happen. Like, yeah, we have this planning and strategy and everything. Okay, we need to make it happen. We need to make it happen. And then I'm like the creative part. So I'm like, we have these ideas. I have the ideas, and we can make this new strategy, but not like different points of strategy. That is more strategy of how are we gonna get there. And me, it's like we're gonna do all this stuff, and we're gonna conquer the world, and we're gonna have this marketing strategy, and we have to sell this product and stuff like that. So I'm more like the creative part, sales, all that. Danny, CEO, planning, making sure that everything is right. And then Karen, it's like just make it happen. Because for example, Karen, if you ask her anything about like the legal stuff or like accounting or anything like that, she'll be like, I have no idea, and I don't care. I'm just gonna make money. And then Danny's like, okay, let me organize the money. And then I'm like, okay, we can also do all these other stuff to make money.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's huge because you know a lot of people, you know, I'm a young entrepreneur too. I'm 26, and you're 4 years younger than me. And what I've noticed that a lot of the older people care about is that ability to put your ego to the side, because you can be trained on technical things, but it's a lot harder to change someone's character.
Oh yeah.
So as like to have that communication within two other people around your age. Snoop Dogg said it best. He said, you got to know when to drive and when to sit in the passenger seat. And if you have a good understanding of that throughout your whole team, your culture is pretty much going to be good to go.
And especially, like I said before, it's way harder when you have a family business.
Yeah.
Because you don't only need to have like a good communication, like understand, okay, when we're in the business, we're in the business. It's not like, oh, you use my shirt, I'm not going to talk to you because you use my shirt, right? Because we're all the same age, well,
Yeah.
very close, and we use like similar clothes and stuff like that. But we need to be like, okay, that's outside of the business. It's not like, I'm not gonna give you the contact because I'm mad at you or whatever you did to me outside of here. Or when we are in meetings and like someone just get out of like the respect mode and start like screaming and stuff like that, the other two will be like, dude, we're in like company right now, so chill, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that that's one of the things that I feel that since we learned it since we were very young, and we learned like I said, my dad was teaching us always, not only like the names, but like the basics of a business. Not only what is a raw material, but like communication skills, like whatever was important for my sister. We always had roles since we were 6, 7, and 8 to understand that whatever you were in charge, I needed to respect that, and I had my own responsibilities. So I feel that there we learned the basics, and now we just take it to another level, but it's the same thing.
Do you ever turn off work mode and go back into family mode?
I feel that they're just too connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel they're too connected. I feel there's not such a, I mean...
The line gets really blurred.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because...
Even on vacation.
Even,
especially
yes.
if you go on vacation
Oh,
together.
yeah. There's not such a thing of, we're not talking about business. We're always talking about business.
Yeah.
Or like about ideas or projects or stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And then most of our vacations are done over business because sometimes we have to travel. Like, for example, I'm going to Colorado I have to talk there, and then I'm just going to take an extra day just to know a little bit more about Colorado. So if we go to Argentina, that it's a little bit farther, then we will take 3 more days.
Do you ski?
So vacations, what?
Ski, snowboard?
I did once. I almost died.
Yeah.
It was cool though. It is cool when you
Serious.
get it. It is cool when you get it. But like I learned so many things when I was trying to learn how to snowboard. Like so many things. Like dude, if you fall down, you need to stand up because that's the only way you're gonna get to like the bottom of the hill. Or you can roll, but that's not gonna. No.
Good way to learn that.
That's bad. So I learned so many things it was so hard. I remember we used to take like 3 minutes going up and like an hour and a half going down. We used to stand up, and it's so hard because you have to flip them. I like it.
Have you been skydiving?
I haven't. My sister did it like
Would you?
3 times. I don't know.
Why?
Yeah.
Are you scared of heights?
Not to heights, but like you know that like here in the stomach, like you know the roller coasters.
When you're going up, yeah.
Oh, like for me, roller coasters are fun. Ooh, but like when you're going up, I always start crying. I'm like, no, I want to go. Just let me go. And then after I go down, then I enjoy the ride. But
Well,
like
yeah.
the going up, it's like no, I don't like it.
If you go up on the plane, they will not take you back down on the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. So that's the part that scares me the most. Actually, going up, going down, I know it'll be fun, but like going up and jumping.
I was cool till the plane door opened and I was
Yeah.
sitting at the edge, like
Pressure
looking, I'm like, oh my
changes. It's cold.
Yeah. Oh my
So I
god.
don't know.
Definitely would recommend it though. It was a
10
lot
out
of
of 10.
fun. Yeah. And it helps you like kick that fear. Like talk about mental things. Like that'll change some patterns.
Yeah.
Of how you think.
Oh, I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I like
You heard it here. She's gonna do it.
it. 20 years later. Stephanie, have you done it? I'm working on it.
So that's awesome. So when you go, do you travel often? Like, do you go to any international travel?
Mhm.
You've been to Asia?
I have been to Asia.
You have been to Asia for this? So what do they say? Like, how did that work out? They called you and they're like, we want you to come speak and...
Yes, so we have been to we have been to a lot of places that it's weird that we have been, like China, we've been to Dubai, we've been to Israel with this. So basically when we went to China, we are part of an organization that it's called Global Shapers. So the World Economic Forum created an organization for people under 30 who are doing good stuff in their community, like in leadership or in any industry. They're mainly focused on education and other two things that the World Economic Forum in general focus. So they do like an annual summit by regions. So they do like North America, they do Latin America, they do Asia and stuff like that. And then we met a lot of people there, and then they invited us to go speak at one of their events
Mm-hmm.
in China. And then since we were going all the way to China, we just stayed another week.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was different.
Yeah.
It was totally different. Like we have been to Europe and all these, but I feel that all that is the same. It is different, but it is the same. I feel that China is just like a total different. Like
Complete culture shock?
yeah, yes.
Oh
It
my
was hard.
What was your favorite place you visited?
Ay, that's hard. Cause I cannot say Cartagena. That's where I'm from.
Ah.
I don't know. I feel that China, maybe not my favorite, but like very interesting. Cause I was very impressed by like how different it was.
Wow. I want to go to China.
What about the language barrier?
Oh my god, it was so hard.
Oh yeah.
It was so hard. Cause for example, from Spanish to English, and this is like legit. Most of the times I make up words that they're in Spanish, and then I just put like a letter here or there, and then I don't know where it's a word in English, and it's an
You
actual
do the
word.
same thing for Spanish.
Yeah, so it's an actual word. But then Chinese, there's nothing similar. And
Yeah.
then if you go to Shanghai, most of the people, well, not most of the people, but like you're gonna find some people that speak English. But if you go to other cities, they don't care. Like they're in their own world. They don't care
Mhm.
about like the rest of the world. They don't care about learning English or any of these. So they will just start talking to you in Chinese. And then you're like, dude, I don't understand. And they will just start screaming. And I'm like, if you raise your voice, I don't mean that I'm gonna understand more. And they will just start screaming and screaming. I'm like, I don't understand. And there's nothing. Like you cannot pick up anything. Like it's very hard. Like we thank God had internet, and we will be like, okay, wait, and then the translator, you can talk to it. So we'll be like, okay, say it. And
How
then
accurate was it?
it was very, very accurate.
It's like, oh,
Like-
oh, oh.
Yeah, I say, oh yeah, like it will translate it weird. Like the sentence will not, but you can get it right.
Yeah.
So I was like, if we didn't have that, we'd be lost. It was so hard. Like the taxis, taking a taxi, like it was so hard, but it was good. It was cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Shanghai, it's like New York, but 20 times bigger.
Yeah.
And then they have so many LED lights, like everywhere, but
Like Vegas?
huge, yeah, like but 20 times Vegas. Like it's so big. Everything there is like there's so much money in Shanghai. The problem is that in the rest of the cities that there's nothing. But Shanghai, there's so much money.
Oh my
Stupid.
God. So where do you want to be in 5 years?
Ay, that's a complicated question. Because every time you change, every day it changes.
As of
22
today,
right now?
Huh?
22?
As of today, right now, if you
I'll be
could
27.
pin where you want to be in 5 years.
So in 5 years, I'll definitely want to have our company develop here in the States. So basically everything that we are doing right now in Latin America, bring it here to the US. and honestly just scaling our company, scaling our business with more projects. I don't know. I just feel
You still want to be doing this and growing it in 5 years?
Oh yes.
This is
I
it.
feel that this is like, I feel there's different type of businesses. I feel there's people that they make businesses to grow them, sell them, make more money, make another business. There's people that like to do several businesses at the same time. I feel that this is like I grew up living this, so this is like the only option that it's in my mind. Like there's nothing else from, like, if I sell the Biz Nation, I'll use that money to create the Biz Nation too. There's not.
You're right. There's not a lot of founders that I met that have, for one, that long of history in the grassroots stage, but then that are really like want to Steve Jobs it and go till the end.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
100%. There's like, I feel that sometimes I dream with this. I wake up with this. I'm like all day in this. It's just like a lifestyle now. Honestly, like if you think about it this way, I'm 22. But I've been doing this for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more than half of my life. So it's just like a lifestyle now. It's not something that I do. It's just who I am. Like if I don't have this, I don't have anything else.
I feel that. That's awesome. So when I got one more question for you. When you wake up in the morning or any point throughout the day, do you have something you do to prime? And what I mean by that is, first thing I do when I wake up, before I check my phone, before I even get out of bed, is I open my phone, I go to my notes, and I read my affirmations. I say prayers, which is just like, thank you God for this, that, and the third. And then that's gratitude. And then prayer it's the same one every day. It's pray that I'm guided to be the man on this planet I'm supposed to be. And I do it all, knock that whole thing out in like 5 minutes. And then I do a 10-minute meditation midday. And I do that every day. Do you have stuff like that you do daily? Yeah. Or weekly or anytime?
I don't. Sometimes I try. Like when I have a specific goal, I try to do these things of like saying thank you, like actually write it down so I don't get lost whenever things are getting like hard, and I just don't like lose my motivation and like my focus and all that. So I do it, but like not only say it, but like write it down just to keep like, okay, today was a really bad day. Like for example, yesterday was a really bad day, but today I'm grateful for this, and then I'm gonna keep going, right? So I do that when I have specific goals, but I honestly do not have like a routine of something that I do every day. Like, not that when I have like specific goals that I need to meet, I do. But like I'm always like working also towards goals. So for example, I just had an event on Saturday, so I was working towards that. So I was doing that thing of like writing it down, right? So now I'm planning another one, so I get bored of that.
Yeah, you just game plan it out.
Yeah, exactly. But there's nothing that I do like every day. I wish I could be like wake up and go to the gym every day and then
what time you wake up at?
Endorphins. It depends. So sometimes if I'm like in goal mode, like I need to achieve this, 5 a.m. I'm up, like running. I'm not running literally, but like
running
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm like ready to go. If not, like 6:30.
Okay.
I need to read this book that is the 5 a.m. book. Have you heard about it?
No.
Oh my god. You like meditation, you're gonna love it. I haven't been able to read it, but my sister started reading it. She's like, you need to read this. It's called the 5 a.m. something book, but it's so good. Like she's like, it would change your perspective of like routine, life. How do you wake up every day? How do you set up your day and all that? So I'm looking forward to reading it. I haven't been able because I was doing the event preparation and all that, but I want to read it.
There's some
if you start first, let me know.
I will.
I don't know how it goes.
This is my last question. What is something unique or different you use to get past gatekeepers or get in front of decision makers or whoever you want to get in front of as a salesperson?
Oh, I'm different. Like I will, whatever looks normal, I will not do that.
Yeah.
Like I would just do like random stuff. I will stalk people. I will, like for example, this is something that we have been doing since we were like little kids. We have always, I feel that the main reason also after my parents, the main reason why we are where we are is because we have been able to do different stuff to talk to incredible people that have helped us to be here. first we have been very confident. Like every time that we do this crazy stuff, we just do it like as confident as we can. But like for example, when we were kids and we were knocking doors and people were like, oh yeah, my dad is not at home, or I don't know, my boss is not at home and stuff like that. We'll wait in the parking lot and then we'll see when the car came in, and then we'll wait like 5 minutes so we knew that they were at home, and then we were just randomly passing by again to see if maybe he was now at home. Just, maybe he's here. We already knew he was there. And they were like, yeah, he's actually here, blah, blah, blah. So we'll do stuff like that. Like one time for a conference, we needed to talk to this person that was like going to be like speaker. And we signed up as press for that conference. And then we had to send like our logo and our company and all that. So we created all that, and we created business cards even for my dad. Like my dad would jump into this. He was like, yeah, so we're now Biz Nation Media, and then we bought like a camera and a microphone, and then we went into the press room and we were able to interview this person and then get a meeting with him after, right? So we always do crazy stuff. One day we were also at a conference and we need to talk to the speaker. It was Pitbull, the singer. So we needed to talk to him. Because now he's super involved into education. So before the conference, we stalked him. We watched so many interviews, what he said, what he didn't say, what was important for him in education. And we did like a portfolio. And we used that's one of the best things that I feel that we have ever done in our life. And we did like this portfolio where we used like all his quotes, all the reasons why we needed to talk, all the things that we were doing. But of course it was like a 4-page thing. And then let's say it was like a 1,000 people event, right? And he was talking, and at the end you have like possibilities to ask questions. And my sister was like, hey, I have a question. She just did whatever question. Oh well, from all the people that wanted to have questions, we started talking. So she seated here, the other ones, Danny sit there, and then I sat like in the other side. And then we were like, hey, please help us to like point at her. So the girl that comes with the mic will ask her, and not all the other people that were just raising their hand. So finally she got the mic and she was able to ask the question. It was whatever question, like, how do you think entrepreneurship is involved in education? Blah, blah, blah. He answers. And then she's like, and by the way, I prepared this pamphlet for you. Can I give it to you? And he was like, oh my God, yes, please give it to me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. She went to the stage, give it to him. We started talking, then we had a meeting. So definitely.
That's awesome.
Just doing weird stuff, random stuff, people that other people are not.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
That's beautiful.
Stuff that people are not willing to do.
I got goosebumps. That's awesome.
Oh, you too? I love it. That was very cool. That was actually like, but like you just have to be like do crazy stuff, but like good crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Some people sometimes they just confuse crazy with like stupid stuff. You don't have to do stupid stuff. Just crazy.
Out of the box.
Out of the box, but like that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. Well, where can people follow you
at the Biz Nation, but like the Biz Nation. And then the other one is Stephanie Carvajalino.
We'll put that up on the screen.
Yeah, I was like, if you were able to write my last name, then Stephanie Carvajalino. That's my Instagram. And then Hermanas Carvajalino everywhere. Same.
Awesome.
Facebook, Instagram.
We got you guys right here. Thanks again. I know you're a busy woman and you got a long drive, and we really appreciate you coming out here. I think you dropped a lot of gems from someone who's really been hustling a long time. And I felt a lot. Like I heard a lot of the stuff you said, but I felt it too. And that's awesome. So I think my biggest things are, if I could sum it up, communication, confidence, consistency. That's really like what I think of when I think of you and your story is. You know, you guys looked it all in the face, and you went with faith over fear. You went with abundance over scarcity, and you got that confident part. The communication has been innate with you guys since you were selling chocolates in Colombia. Like that's a make a movie.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there.
And then the consistency piece is that you've been doing it since you're 7. You're still here, and there's nothing that would pull you away except for the Biz Nation too.
Oh yes.
So that's amazing. And everyone listening, check her out, follow her. She's got a lot of good stuff. Y'all know where to follow us at HSTL UP, www.hstlup.com. I'm Jonathan.
Clint.
Spread the message, share the love, and hustle up.